Yoga is a framework of improving holistic health, well being, and self awareness. Yoga is experiencing a sense of truth, wholeness, and openness to the infinite. Yoga is the union of oneself with higher state of consciousness. Yoga is not only about asanas. How to attain self-realization? Let's have answers from the experts in the panel discussion on the topic Yoga Beyond Stretching. Our guest today is Dr. Pedro Pastor. He is Doctor in Health Science from the University of Alcalá de Henares, Madrid, Spain. Dr. Pedro is licensed in nursing and is specialized in occupational nursing. He is Master in Public Health. He is also the International Yoga Teacher and Teacher Trainer registered by Yoga Alliance. He is trained in Raja Yoga at Bihar School of Yoga, Munger, India. Also Judo Teacher, Black Belt. He is the founder and president of the Sankalpa Yoga Association. Dr. Pedro Pastor feels that each human being is immersed in his own path and is important to have the possibility of equipping himself with the tools that yoga provides us to become aware of each vital cycle, repeating nature, the environment, and the body itself. Because of that way, the human being is able to find happiness, and that path likes to call it yoga. Our next guest, Ms. Amrita Magdala, whose love for nature and for Gaia, the earth and humanity represents, has moved Amrita into the exploration of consciousness. A journey that ongoingly opened towards unrealized possibilities, normally unimaginable to our current state of realization. Creating unity is finding love as the thread that unites all traditions, all relations, all beings on the earth. As the expression of her soul, she helps now the arising awareness through the arts in the form of music and art. Founder of the Voice of Gaia, a movement raising consciousness through music and art, inspiring love for Mother Earth and humanity. Today we also have with us Dr. Stefan Ilchev, President of Bulgarian Yoga Federation. He is practicing yoga since 2003. He is graduated in the yoga course for instructors at National Sports Academy. He participates in numerous yoga workshops organized by Indian and Bulgarian yoga teachers. From 2008 to 2011, he was Vice President of BYF. He graduates medicine in 1992 and became a specialist in internal medicine. Work at the University Hospital, Pleven. His interest is in the field of yoga therapy and homeopathy. It's my pleasure to welcome our next guest, who is one of the highly accomplished leading professional in the field of holistic wellness in the world. He is Dr. Adrish Brahmadatta. Presently, he is the visiting professor and course coordinator of yoga and Ayurveda at the Center for Bharat Studies, Mahidol University, Thailand. He is the founder and director of Atharva Wellness Private Limited, Thailand. He is a qualified registered Ayurveda doctor, and being a wellness professional has given lectures and trainings in more than 21 hours in various wellness related programs in various institutions such as universities, colleges, fitness centers, Ayurveda centers, yoga centers, prisons, rehabilitation centers, and societies in 55 countries such as USA, UK, Australia, Taiwan, China, Japan, Mongolia, Vietnam, Myanmar, Indonesia, and Thailand, and many others. Being an academician, he has the responsibility as visiting lecturer, syllabus maker, examiner, etc. with many universities. Dr. Adrish has involved in high government prisoners well-being program and contributed his expertise in 4 central prisons and trained thousands of prisoners in Thailand. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobar, convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tomar is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He is a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste, Dr. Stephen G. We acknowledge your presence Namaste, Amrita ji. We acknowledge your presence. Namaste, Dr. Edrish. We acknowledge your presence. And dear friends who are watching us from different parts of the world, today we are going to have a panel discussion on a very interesting and relevant topic: yoga beyond stretching. By chance, a big part of the world, yoga has been popularized as the physical stretching, or in a way, a part of gymnastic. But there are many masters who believe that yoga is not only physical stretching, it is stretching the mind also. It is stretching your soul also till to the divine consciousness. So let's try to understand from our masters today, what is the difference between yoga and asana? Are they same or is there any difference? So let me begin with Dr. Edris. Dr. Edris, what do you think? What is the difference between yoga and asana? Are they same or there is a difference? Please unmute and speak.
Okay. Hari Om.
Very good.
Thank you, Dr. Bikrant, for the opportunity to speak in this such platform, which is now globally recognized. Last time also I got the opportunity, and this time, and uh, nice to see two of the expertise from Dr. Stefan and Dr. Amrita. I just gone through their bios, it's great achievements. Anyway, we come to the point right now. Dr. Vikrant, that in your profile there is a saying, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Actually, that is also beyond the stretching. There is a sense of yoga to unite and combine and give the brotherlyhood or sisterlyhood and give the positive vibes to people. Today, yoga, as you said, explained earlier, that it is all about people that are thinking it is physical element or physical stretching. Exactly, it is, as you said, it is beyond that. It is a mental and spiritual stretching, expansion of mental and spiritual of the spirit or the spirituality of the individual. So it is somehow the people, 21st century young people, they want to achieve many things in short period of time. Where yoga is a holistic science, it takes some time to realize and to expand through practice. So what happens, sometimes these people, our generations, the youth, the young generation, somehow they forget it is all about how you do, with awareness, with awareness on breath, with awareness on the body movement and the coordination. But sometimes the people, they just jump and they want to sweat. They do not focus. They listen to even the yoga classes in Europe, in US, even now in India. Some of the yoga in the classes, they put the music. So when it's music, I feel comfortable, but they don't understand the essence. You are practicing not just physical, you are practicing as a holistic, for your physical body, for your mental body, for your spiritual body. So then you can expand, you can physically, you will be balanced, mentally you will be more content, you will not fall into the trap of the emotions, you will rather, you will come over it. And spiritually you will be more vibrant and you will feel joy and happiness, even how uh, big the problem is in the life, but still you feel content, you feel more achieved, more happy, joyfulness. No one can take your happiness away. That
Mhm.
is what, in my words, I want to
Thank
explain.
you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dr. Adris said that
Yeah.
we need to follow holistic science of yoga rather than only physical aspect, and the science that unites me, you, and all, which connects us also together. I'll ask Amrita ji. Amrita ji, you have been a practicing yogini. So when we talk about yoga beyond stretching, so to our audience, what is it that is beyond stretching? Because majority of the people are stretching, twisting their body, and they say that they are doing yoga. So what is it in yoga which is beyond stretching?
Oh, hello everyone.
Hello, everyone.
First, I would
First,
like to,
I would
I
like
don't
to
know, have a
have
maybe
a You may fix that.
Do you
You
hear
have
an
two
echo?
devices, I guess.
Okay, maybe
I
you
will
ask
ask this question
Stephen
to you
Hunter.
later. Let me ask Stephen G till you fix it. Please mute yourself, Amritaji. Perfect. Thank you. So, Stephen G,
Yes.
the same question to you. What is it in yoga which is beyond stretching?
In order to, how do you hear me? Is it okay?
Perfect.
Okay. In order to answer of that question, we have to know what is stretching and what is yoga. In my opinion, stretching concerns the body, only the body. Or maybe the most people of the world understand that stretching is about the body. And what is yoga? We have a lot of definitions of yoga, but yoga is unity, integrity, holistic approach towards not only the body, but also towards our mind, emotions, etc. We cannot divide asanas from yoga because asana is one part of yoga, and we cannot divide the whole limbs of yoga. If we are doing only asanas, we are just stretching our body. That's why we have to practice the whole limbs of yoga. What is asana? We can see what Patanjali says in his definition in Sutra 46, chapter 2, in his sutras: Sthira Sukham Asanam, stable and comfortable. This is a posture helpful for yoga according to Patanjali. Thus, any posture which will be comfortable and which could be maintained steadily for a long time can be asana. As we know, the word asana comes from the root as, to sit. Every articles used for sitting are also called asana. Thus, we can conclude that asana is sitting posture suitable for the practice of the next limbs of yoga. Directions for such postures are given not only in Yoga Sutras, but also in Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and they are described as a firm position with folded and fixed legs and erect back and neck. So any sitting, erect, relaxed, and maintained for a long time position will fit this. Even Hatha Yogic asanas should and could be maintained for whatever maximum period comfortably, which will give psychological and spiritual result. Every movement should be smooth without jerk, force, and pressure. If otherwise they become only physical exercises or stretching.
Thank you. Dr. Stephen mentioned, I guess we have to switch off the mic. Dr. Edris and Stephen, if you can. Thank you. I guess, yes. Thank you, Dr. Stephen. Thank you. So, Dr. Stephen mentioned about that it is not only about asanas, but it is about mind and emotions also. But he said that asanas are the integral part of yoga, cannot be eliminated. It is the foundation, and it helps you to sit in the posture very smoothly without jerk, so that you can go for the further steps in yoga limbs. Amritaji, I can twist my body very good. I have lots of flexibility in my body, but I remain agitated. I remain irritated. I don't have any mental peace. Will you call me a yogi, Amritaji?
First, please, I don't want, because I want to explain something about myself. I'm not a trained yogi. I don't know any theory about yoga. So I need to make this very clear about this. I do understand yoga. I'm not sure how, but I feel we all have everything within. And when we touch that source of oneness, then everything is known in a sense. So when I hear the word yoga or yogi, it comes an understanding that is not from knowledge, please. I want to make this clear. It's not theoretical. So for me, a yogi, when I hear yoga or yogi, is to become one with. Um, so how is that for expansiveness? I cannot imagine any more expansive than to become one with. The path to become one with what is everything. It's continuous. It's an ongoing journey. So in this sense, it's beautiful what they're saying. It is really about sitting, but it's sitting within the peacefulness within. It is, for me, I call that there's a throne inside. It's in the heart. It's in the heart of love. It's love itself. When we are sitting within this throne, everything is peaceful. And yes, the expansiveness of the world and the universe is stretched before our eyes. We are part of it. We are not separate anymore. This is what I can share about this. I apologize. I don't know about. I'm studying now. For me, everything is being backwards. I'm getting to know now more about yoga. I'm very interested. But after I had experiences of it, and I was considering what is this, and then I became very interested in all these philosophies all around the world. And
Thank
yoga,
you.
I have has my utmost respect. Everybody here too. Thank you for what you do. It's amazing. So I
Sure.
feel there's two ways always in. Sometimes it's the outward journey towards the inward journey. Sometimes it's the inward journey towards the outward journey. It's everything is perfect. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. So Amritaji mentioned that it's not about external knowledge. All knowledge is within. When you are sitting in that asana, you need to be sitting with not only physically comfortable, you should be mentally peaceful also. She mentioned there is a throne of love inside, and whosoever sits on this with peace, with love, get feels peace. And one thing I especially like what you said, that it's not actually you stretching. When you sit with love, even universe stretches itself to embrace you. So Dr. Edris, let me come to you with the question that you mentioned, that it has to be holistic, physical, mental, and emotional. It is not only about physical, mental, and emotional. It is easy to be still physically, but it's not that easy to be still mentally and keeping the emotions still. So how should I go about? Please unmute and speak.
Okay, thank you. You raised this beautiful question on this for the discussion. You see, uh, for a common man, it's very difficult to understand that they have a mind and how it works. Also, they very difficult for them to understand that there is a spirit within them, and many people also they don't believe in spirit that, and many people believe that they have a spirit, and it's all about to make the spirit recognized and through peace and through silence. As you know, that in yogic science, in yoga itself, that we discuss about the panchakosa, that this body is not just the physical body. When we appear or when we see someone, we see the physical part of the individual, right? And asanas are designed to nourish, to take care of that physical part, that is Arnamaya Kosa, where the how you nourish your mind, that is the Manomaya Kosa, is nourished by practice of meditation. So one must practice meditation to stable the emotions, to expand the mind and stable the emotions. And also Vijnanamaya Kosa, which is considered as the intellectual body of the individual, and through learning, through listening to the teachers, practice of Swadhyaya, we understand the emotions, we understand what we are doing and how we are affected by the events, and that how it generates different kinds of emotions. So through our intellect, we can control the intellect, our emotions, that how we should behave, how should work, how we should manage the events. So not to be fall in the trap, into the trap of the events, rather we behave very nicely in our, in the emotional way.
Thank
So
you. Mhm.
so the important thing is that along with asanas practice, we must practice pranayamas for pranamaya kosha and meditations for manamaya kosha, and for study or listening to the teacher, more intuitive, to acquiring the knowledge, practice of swadhyaya, we should expand and nourish our
Thank you.
intellectual body. Then we can balance ourselves. So this is how it is beyond the physical of the asanas or stretching.
Thank you. So Dr. Adris mentioned the 5 koshas, 5 uh, components or shells of our existence. He mentioned that this physical body is nourished by asana, but the pranic body, the energetic body, is nourished by pranayama. So we should also practice pranayama. This mind gets nourished by meditation. So should work on that also. And the intelligence I have, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, is nourished by listening to a righteous guru and doing swadhyaya. That's profound, Dr. Edris. Stephen G., after understanding what Dr. Edris is saying, I am twisting my body. I can very flexibly. I have understood this also, that I should work like this. But when I go to the organization in the society, then when I behave, I can't control myself. I get irritated very soon. I react. So may I be called yogi then?
Of course not, because if we are saying that we are practicing yoga, we have to practice it 24 hours, because the practices of asanas is maybe 1.5 hours. The practice of pranayama is 30 minutes to 1 hour, but the practice of yamas and niyamas should be 24 hours. During when we are sleeping. I will oppose a little bit to Dr. Adris, if you allow me. Not Patanjali put asanas not by chance in the beginning of yoga practice, which shows the importance of asanas. If we look at the pure Hatha yogic scriptures, for instance, Hatha Pradipika, it says that, which begins with asanas, it says that Hatha yoga is for those who are perplexed by confusion caused by multiplicity of views and thus remain ignorant for true Raja Yoga. We are identifying Raja Yoga with meditation, isn't it? Yes, Raja Yoga means meditation. But it is very difficult for us to deal with our minds, because as we know, the mind is compared with a mad monkey, and it is very, very difficult to deal with mind. When we are doing asanas properly every day for a long period of time, it affects our nervous system, parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, which are and the activation of parasympathetic nervous system because due to the everyday asana and pranayama practice is calming our mind and prepares our mind for pratyahara and the next stages of Ashtanga yoga, like dhyana and dharana. So it could be, but it is very difficult to start meditation in the beginning without the good practice of asanas and of course pranayama.
Thank you. You may need to mute Dr. Stephen. So Dr. Stephen said is also very profound. He mentioned that you may practice pranayama for 30 minutes, meditation for 30 minutes, but yama and niyama has to be practiced 24 hours. And this is how these 8 limbs together makes it comprehensive and complete. He said there is a special purpose why the asana is put at the early limbs, because when you do asana and pranayama properly, it affects your parasympathetic nervous system, which in turn calms your mind and makes you ready for further pratyahara and meditation, because mind being monkey, it is not that easy to enter into meditation. That's profound, Dr. Stephen. Let me ask Amritaji. Amritaji, you said that one need to sit within self on the throne of love, and then world appears peaceful. But there are many people who ask this question. I don't feel loved. I don't feel loved enough. So that person is not loving me enough. That is not loving me enough. That is not loving me enough. I'm not feeling loved enough. And on the another side, even I'm not loving myself enough. So how to sit in this inner throne of love with your experiential learning?
At one point in my life, what I understood is that I didn't know this. I didn't know love. So the first thing was to understand this. So I would say be truthful to yourself first. Truth, it's an open gate, door to love. So don't force, just be truthful. When I understood this, I needed to ask more questions. To inquire, we need to understand one thing. This, I feel it cannot happen if the time has not come. So don't try to push anything. At one point, you will know when to sit because all other options in the world are exhausted. I mean, there are no more answers out there. So at one point, you have no other choice. In the sense, when you sit, like Dr. Stefan was saying, right? To do pranayama, to turn within, which is the invitation for all humanity at one point, is because the world is getting too loud out there. You need to be truthful to yourself that that world is really getting too much for you. There's an ongoing lie nowadays that it's okay, I can do this, when all your insides are screaming, I cannot do this anymore, or I don't know. To be truthful, to be in your space, in your private, which is your throne of love, to be in your private, in your connection with the divine, which is within. Listen to that. Give yourself time to breathe that, right? And then ask the questions. In which way am I not being loving to myself? Maybe I'm not listening to myself enough. Listening is very important. In which way I'm not being loving to others and I could do more? You see, this is a path of a warrior. It's a warrior and it's 24/7. One lie will bring everything down, but to remain honest, humbleness, enough to know the truth is what leads to this peacefulness.
Thank you. Amritaji mentioned that what she meant by sitting on the throne of love is this, that be with yourself and listen to your inner self. Be truthful to yourself. Have patience, don't push. And insights will start emerging through self-inquiry. Understanding this, Adrishji, you also mentioned something about Swadhyaya, an inner inquiry. Would you like to give some tips to our audience today from where to begin this Swadhyaya? Because certainly Swadhyaya is beyond physical stretching. It is stretching your understanding. So how can I stretch my understanding with Swadhyaya? Practical tips which I can do from tomorrow itself. Please unmute and speak.
So again, okay. So as we know, practice of Swadhyaya, self-study, is coming under practice of a niyama, which is a individual conduct in terms of second Ashtanga Yoga, the second limbs of. So in Swadhyaya, this is all about to acquiring, to enhancing our ability to, like, for example, you said the practical point of view, before going to bed, close your eyes and you go through all your activities since morning till the bedtime. That is that you observe that what are the activities that you did for yourself, for your family, or for the people, or for the society. You must aware of all your deeds, all your act. When you make aware of it, that then you are expanding, means you must aware of your role for the society, for the universe. So this is one of the practice that you observe. And secondly, Swadhyaya practice also to go through the right scriptures, right books. Choose the right books. It talk about like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Vedas. So, or any spiritual books that consider it has something to give for the humanity. Go through it. Read the good books, good publication books. Reading and listening to the rightest teacher, the gurus, who talks about oneness, who talks about binding people, humanity, peace. Listening to that and observing ourselves, we can expand our self-study of practice of Swadhyaya.
Thank you. Very practical tips Dr. Edris gave us. Close your eyes, just scan through whole day, see where I can improve, where I can be more accommodative, accepting it will expand us beyond limited identities of self. Read scriptures and go to the right master. Dr. Stephen, you mentioned that there are techniques through which, once my question is over, then you switch on the mic.
It is switch on.
Yes, you right now please switch off the mic. Yes, somehow I'm getting my voice back once you switch on the mic. Yes, thank you. So my question to you would be, you mentioned there are some techniques of pranayama and asana to activate parasympathetic nervous system and keep mind peaceful. And that keeping mind peaceful is certainly beyond physical stretching. So would you like to give some idea to our audience? A small practical tip which can be done at any moment. If I'm feeling very much right now, anxiety, I'm feeling lots of anxiety right now, something happened or whatever. How can I just keep my mind peaceful? Any small technique?
Yes. First of all, people need to know that there is another way of living except this ordinary living which they live. Waking up early in the morning, going to work, and then back at home, the television, and so on and so on. That's why the usefulness of such events you are organizing, United Consciousness, is very useful for people to get know that there is another way of living, that there is way of living with less suffering, way of living with calm mind. This is first. Then, second, there should be motivation for people to stop their physical and mind suffering. if if somebody is not quite motivated, nothing could be done about him. So I have to have strong desire to stop my suffering, to change my way of living. Secondly, one have to find a good master, good teacher, as Dr. Adrisji said. Without a good master, there is this chance to make mistakes on the road to the spirituality. So the second good master is important. Then we have to regulate our diet and our sleeping. The regulation of diet and sleeping will lead to calming the mind, calming the body, and not last, we have to create a proper surrounding around us with people, etc. And of course, we have to start practicing the true yoga.
Thank you. So lots of practical tips Dr. Stephen gave. One question I received, Amrita ji, for you is, yes, I can sit quiet and listen to my inner self, but what happens is at times so many noises come from self, and I get all the most confused that what exactly I want, I don't know. So how to pick which voice from within is correct?
Well, first we need to understand that when everything is very loud, there's very little clarity yet. So there's too many voices. So if you choose one, it's probably going to be the wrong one always. We need to wait for when there is enough silence for one voice to arise clearly. If that one voice is not arising clearly and it's uniquely just one, then it's not the time for you to decide yet. You still need to keep yourself time to just sit and allow all those voices to rise. What is very important is that when you do sit, it doesn't matter if you sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, but you need to forget the word. You need to unconditionally sit and just, I don't know, repeat yourself, there's nothing else in the world but this now. Just drop everything, your family, your friends, what you have to do. Completely say, there's only now, this moment. For some people, this doesn't work. Then it's not time yet. Don't force, don't push. At one point, you will want to sit and please, I've had it. I want to forget about the world. And you're just, oh, this feels good, just sitting. Wait for that moment to come and wait for that one voice to arise. Then it's clarity.
Thank you very much. So, dear friends who are watching us from different parts of the world or who will be watching us, we have our honorable guests from different parts of the world, and we discussed on the topic yoga beyond stretching. Adrisji mentioned that yoga stands for uniting me, you, and all. And the holistic yoga is not only physical, it has mental and emotional dimensions also. And he mentions the 5 shilth of our existence, that is called 5 koshas. And he said for Annamaya kosha, it is asana that is important. From Pranamaya kosha, go for pranayama. For Manamaya kosha, go for meditation. For Vijnanamaya kosha and intelligence, go for learning and listening to yourself and learning from the guru and do swadhyaya. So he mentioned about the 5 koshas and how each kosha can be nourished. Stephen G added with that, yes, there is a lot beyond the stretching in yoga, but at the same time, asana is an integral part of yoga. Probably he's trying to say that yoga without asana is not Ashtanga yoga, it is Vikalanga yoga, handicapped yoga. It is not a complete yoga without asana. He said, Sthiram Sukham Asana, you need to have strong foundation, physical also and mental also, before you perform higher limbs of yoga. And then he said that meditation and swadhyaya has some limitations, but yamas and niyamas should be practiced all 24 hours. As somebody rightly said, that Raman Maharshi, when was asked which is the best asana, he said nididhyasana. Practicing all the time is the best asana, and that is what Stephen G is saying, that do yama and niyamas all the time. He mentioned that Hatha Yoga Pratipika also establishes this, that mind is monkey, but through asanas and pranayama, we can activate our parasympathetic nervous system, keeping mind quiet and calming the mind. You can go for the higher limbs on pratyahara and other. And he said that we need to understand that there are other ways of living also. Don't accept the suffering, that there is no way out. Like Buddha said, there is a solution to this suffering, and I need to seek the solution. That mumukshutva, that inspiration has to be there within, that yes, I will identify alternative way of living happily. And if you can't do it yourself, Stephen G said, and even Adrish Ji said, go for a master. Master will give you the path. Guru positioning system, GPS, and regulate diet and sleep. He also said, have proper surrounding also, because your vibrations get affected by the people around you, and do yoga daily. Adrish Ji also mentioned that read scriptures also as a swadhyaya, and close your eyes and scan your daily routine and see where you could have expanded more to the universe. And wherever you will find, do it more, so that you will open to the world. And then when you are open to the world, you will be sitting in the throne of love inside you, what Amrita Ji said. And when you are sitting in the throne of love for yourself and for the people around you, what you feel is peace. And when you are sitting on the throne of love, you don't need to stretch yourself. Even the universe will start stretching to embrace you. How to sit on the throne of love? Be truthful to yourself. Listen to your inner voice. Don't push. Have patience. Because in emotions, fast is slow and slow is fast. And if you don't get any clear voice from within, have patience. So 3 P's, Amrita Ji is saying, be still. Try to sit very peacefully. Keep your mind clear. Sit peacefully. Have patience. Probably do prayers, whatever you want. So patience, prayer, and peace will help you to know what is your inner voice. And once you know your inner voice, then you will be able to connect and embrace the universe, and universe will be embracing you, which is the true purpose of yoga. And I'm sure who are watching us today will certainly get inspired to initiate having a yogic life. Thank you very much. Yes, Amrita Ji.
Dr. Vikram, could we add one thing? Now,
Sure, why
listening
not?
to you, to this same question, if you don't know and you still don't have the patience, maybe one more thing that we could add, then follow someone who knows, help them. Helping others may always help yourself. So open to service. Do serve others that do know what they hear, that clear voice inside. And then at one point, yours will also, like
Perfect.
a flower. Open.
You serve the universe will serve you back. Identify the right guru, and the guru will take you there. Thank you very much, Dr. Adrish Ji. Thank you, Dr. Stephen Ji. Thank you, Amrita Ji, for a wonderful discussion today. I'm sure I am enriched. All of the people must have enriched. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Hari Om.
Thank you.